Hi, my name is Zied Mahirsi. I'm a Tunisian doctor and a global health professional. I wanted to share a message to inform my family and friends in the United States about the recent news that took place in Tunisia. So, if you hear about Tunisia for the first time, just give you a couple of dates to put things in perspective. In 1846, Tunisia was the first Arab Muslim country to abolish slavery. It established a constitution in 1861, and it was also the first Arab and Muslim country to do that. It got its independence from the French in 1956, and in 1957 it gave the right to vote for women. Since then we had two presidents. The second president, Zine El Abidine Ben Ali, took power in 1987 and ruled the country for 23 years. He ruled the country the same way China is ruled by a big party who had more than 2 million members, while we are just 10 million people in Tunisia. And he got elected every 5 years with rates that are around 90, 99, and 94%. On the 17th of December, which is almost a month ago, a guy in Sidi Bouzid, which is a poor area, poor governorate in the center of Tunisia, sprays himself with gasoline and set himself on fire outside the headquarters of the governorate. He did this in protests because he was working, he owned a fruit stand, and the local authorities didn't allow him to sell his fruits. Knowing that this job was a temporary job that was providing him with pittance pay to basically help his 8 family members. So because he was desperate, he lit himself on fire. Then after that, a lot of demonstrations happened in Sidi Bouzid, and people were really unhappy because they shared the same frustration that Bouazizi had. A lot of them were unemployed graduates and people who were young people who were having hard time finding a job and hard time finding opportunities in their area. On December 24th, a week later, protests are still ongoing, and we started hearing about shootings in small cities, and Menzel Bouzayen was the first one. And then after those shootings that were described on governmental TV as an act of self-defense, a lot of people started demonstrating in other governments and governorates. At that time, the president made a first speech attacking foreign channels, saying that they are the ones promoting this agitation, and a minority of people who are just trying to create troubles for the country. People were really angry after that speech, and protests continued. On December 29th, he dismissed the communication minister. That didn't do anything. And he dismissed that minister because in Tunisia, the governmental TV didn't cover the story at all, and people were relying on Al Jazeera Arabic to watch what's happening in their country. On December 31st, lawyers in Tunisia tried to protest against what was happening, and the government basically reacted in a very violent way as usual. And we've seen that on TV, and what that made people really angry. A week later, maybe, we're hearing about more and more protests in the city of Kasserine, especially. And Kasserine is famous in the U.S. for the World War II battle, the Battle of the Pass of Kasserine, where the U.S. basically faced the German forces. And in this city of Kasserine, we heard that basically 14 people were dead, and violence was starting to reach the capital. At that time, we had another speech, and that was saying that those are terrorist acts, and the people that are angry that are not basically real people but just terrorists. The president said that he's gonna really use the law to punish those people, but in the same time he announced that he's gonna create 300,000 jobs in the coming 2 years, which is basically unrealistic. At the same time, he closed schools and university to prevent more violence to spread out. And on January 12th, he announced that he's dismissing the Minister of Interior Affairs, who violently repressed all the violence that was spreading all over the country. So on January 13th, we had so far 66 people killed throughout the Tunisian Republic, and people were really unhappy about the situation and were starting to ask him to leave the country. At that time, he did a speech, and he said that he understood the people and that he's gonna change, and that we're gonna have freedom of press, but that was too late. On January 14th, you can see on all over the news the protests that took place in front of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and you can see me actually with a banner where we can read "Yes, we can" and "The power to the people." And at that time also I had the opportunity to talk to the New York Times correspondent, and I was quoted there. So those protests were basically the climax. Never in Tunisia's political life we had a protest in front of Minister of Interior Affairs. I was described by the people as the Minister of Terror. A day after, the same day, on January 14th, the president declared the state of emergency in the country and basically left the country in a plane heading to Saudi Arabia, where he is right now. After that same night, we had a speech from the announcement from the Prime Minister saying that the president is temporarily on leave and he's going to replace him till he comes back. And a lot of people were shocked about that because they knew that the president definitely left the country and wanted that we apply the constitution, the constitutional article that says that the president will never come back. That happened the next day, and Article 57 of the Constitution was used, and since then we have a new president, and temporary one, who is actually the president of the parliament, and the prime minister is trying to create a government where he includes all the opposition party. Tunisians are basically happy about, mostly happy about this government of national union, but they are really happy about the departure of Ben Ali and took out all his portraits and posters and that were picturing him all over the city. In the same time, they are not really happy about the situation that in which he left, because in the same time we had a lot of lootings and security was not existing in the country. And in a country where we really never had any problems, never had any shots or any guns for the last maybe 50 years. So this is extremely unusual in our country. What's happening right now, and the helicopters that you're hearing, is the final battle against the presidential guards, where the army is attacking the presidential guard, who basically organized all this shooting and looting in a plan to create fear among the citizens, and in a wish to make them wish that they leave the country. They ask for the president to come back to the country. So this was the plan. He leaves the country, we create some trouble, and then we realize that we can't survive without him, and we ask him to come back. This plan is not working because the army stepped in and declared the state of emergency and a curfew, and everybody's respecting the curfew. And actually it's midnight and almost 1 a.m. in Tunisia, and everybody's respecting the curfew, but also watching out on what's happening in their neighborhoods and calling the army to say that there are maybe armed people running around. We expect that this trouble is going to end tonight because the army attacked the HQ of the presidential guard that's located in the Carthage Palace, and life tomorrow is resuming. Everyone is going back to work. Transportation is going to be available, and also shops are going to open. This is basically pretty much what's happening right now. We will hear tomorrow about the composition of the new government. It's a new era of freedom in Tunisia that's taking place right now. We're really happy and hopeful for the future. We're also happy that most of the internet websites that were censored before are back, and that's why I can record this message on YouTube. We're also, as young people in this country, we contributed a lot in sharing the information through websites like Facebook or Twitter, and this was the way basically the popular coordination happened, because the governmental information system was totally locked. I might send another video soon for updates, but so far this is what's happening. Thank you, and talk to you soon.